All right, hey guys, it's Miss Nisha here, and I am here to go over your Mod 2 dosage calculations with you. So I will go over some of the topics that you will see on your dosage calculation. Okay, so the first thing is military time. Okay, so I've included this little chart here for you. Make sure you go over it. Make sure you understand the difference between military time, which operates using a 24-hour clock, versus standard time, which is what we usually use, using AM and PM and the colons to separate the hours from the minutes. Okay, so make sure you know how to convert back and forth, or how to use either or. Also, military time, you'll know that you're looking at military time because there will not be a colon. You usually have 4 numbers, no colon, no AM or PM, and military time will again operate all the way up to 24 hours. Okay. Some important numbers to remember with military time is when you see 0000 or 0000, that is midnight. That's where the clock starts. Okay. You'll know that it's in AM because it'll say 0100, 1 o'clock AM, 0800, 8 o'clock AM. Okay. That 0 in front lets you know that it is AM. And then after that, 1000, 1100, those are still AM. Okay, noontime will be 1200. So that lets you know 00 is 12 a.m., 1200 is 12 p.m. And then when we get back to midnight, the clock should end at 2400. Okay, or starting back at 0000. Okay, so here below there's helpful tips to help you remember this. There are some examples so you can use them and practice going back and forth. There's also some challenge questions here at the bottom that you can use to test your knowledge just to make sure that you understand the concept because it will be on your dosage calculation. Okay. Here's more for you to try. And I will write a few for you just in case you need the visual. So for example, number 1, it says 7 o'clock a.m. How do you convert that to military time? Okay. So remember, standard time is the way it's written currently. We want military, which means 4 numbers, no colon, no need for AM and PM because the way we write it is going to tell it all. Okay, so 7 o'clock AM would look like, remember the 0 tells us it's part of the AM. Okay, no colons, and that's it. So 0700 would be your 7 o'clock AM in military time. Okay. Let's look at 12 o'clock a.m. Okay, so we know that's where the clock started. Okay, so if you remember those. 12 o'clock p.m., I'll write that one in as well. Okay, we know that's where it shifts to those double numbers. Sorry. Okay, so 1200. Let's look at number 10 here. So 340, how do I get to 340? So remember this clock continues, right? 24-hour process. So if I know where noon is and I'm trying to, or 12 o'clock p.m. is and I need to get to 3 o'clock p.m., you're just going to keep counting, right? So 12 o'clock noon or 12 o'clock p.m. is 1200. Okay, so you need 3:40 p.m. So keep counting. So 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so I know that this is 3 would make it 15. And then there's 40, so 1540. That lets me know that that is 3 o'clock p.m. Okay, now if we look at the other side in the blue, you're going from military time now, and now you need to make it standard time. So again, this gets important because you need to differentiate AM from PM. So I'll start with the top one, 6 o'clock a.m. So because this is going to standard time, it's going to look like 6 with the colons, 00, and now I have to actually write AM. Okay, sorry, my writing is very sloppy. All right, I know that the 0000, that was 12 o'clock a.m. Okay. 1010, is this 10 o'clock a.m. or 10 o'clock p.m.? Because it still says 10, it's going to be a.m. Okay. So I'm going to write 10 a.m. Make sure you don't get those mixed up. Okay. So those are just a few, but these are here for you to try and practice as well. Okay, you also will have conversions, so don't forget how to convert from pounds to kilograms, but if you do forget, I did include this little cheat sheet here. So remember that the standard number that you would use for your conversions is 2.2, okay? So if you're going from pounds, which is heavier or larger, and you want to get that into kilograms, you're going to divide that, right? So think about something that's large and you want to make it smaller, you're going to divide it. If we want to go from kilograms to pounds, when you have something small and you want it to get bigger, you're going to multiply that, right? So you'll multiply by 2.2. So again, this little cheat sheet includes tips to help you remember it. It also includes some of the conversions there for you already, but you can use those to check your knowledge. Okay, and then I included a practice page here for you as well, and I did already include the answer plus the answer when rounded to the nearest tenth. So again, try these on your own and then compare your answer. Make sure you're comparing it as well with your rounding. Okay. The next thing, medication labels, and I know everyone loves medication labels, okay? So here is a medication label to help you practice, okay? So in this one, the question here says, how many mLs will you administer, okay? So on your left-hand side is your available label. On your right-hand side is your order, so order from the doctor, okay? So here's the order. Your patient weighs 66 pounds, and your order is written acetaminophen, 10 milligrams per kilogram per oral every 6 hours as needed for pain or fever, okay? And then when you look back on the left-hand side, what you have available is acetaminophen, 160 milligrams per 5 mLs, okay? So let's go to the next page, and we're gonna practice working that out. Okay, so don't forget that your patient weighs 66 pounds. Write this stuff down somewhere, and then we're gonna calculate it together, okay? So 2 ways, right? For those that love dimensional analysis, I'm going to attempt to set that up for you. And then those that know desired over half or order over available, we're going to write that one as well, okay? So we're going to start with our patient weighing 66 pounds, right? And remember with dimensional, it needs to be set up so that the units that you don't need anymore can cross cancel, okay? So 66 pounds. So in order for this to cross cancel, I need pounds to be towards the bottom, okay? So we're gonna do 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So notice here, if I were to cross cancel, my pounds, they're gonna be gone, okay? So that, we're gonna hope we set it up correct, but we'll test the theory in just a moment. Okay, from here, we're gonna look at the order because I forgot it already. Okay, so 10 milligrams per kilogram, okay? So again, if you were unsure of where to set this up, well, kilograms is at the top, so kilograms needs to be at the bottom, okay? And it was 10 milligrams for every kilogram. So I'm gonna put that on top, okay? So now we have that so far. And again, if I cross cancel, my kilograms would be done, and now I'm just working with my milligrams. My order was 160 milligrams per 5 ml. So let's go back here. So I know milligrams needs to go on the bottom. So that was 160 milligrams, which means my 5 mLs will be on top. Okay, these are going to cross cancel. And remember, we want the answer in milliliters. The question asks how many mLs will be administered. So notice that everything else is cross canceled. mLs will be the only units left when we are done. Okay, and now we're just going to multiply everything up top. And oops, I didn't mean to write that. That should go there. Okay, so we're going to now take 66 times 1 times 10 times 5, and we get 3,300 on top. Okay. And then underneath, we're going to do 2.2 times 1 times 160, and we get 352 on the bottom. And now we're going to actually calculate those numbers and divide. So 3,300 divided by 352 will give us 9.375. Let's say they want us to round to the nearest tenth. Here's my tenths place. Okay, so I have to look to the number behind it. The number behind that place is a 7. 5 or greater will bump that number up. So that means I should end with 9.4 because there's a 7 behind the 3. Okay, and that's 9.4 mLs because that's the only units that were left when we were done with our calculation, right? If you like desired over half or order over available, then we are going to calculate that, okay? So for the order, you have your patient is 66 pounds, and we have to start here first, okay? So order was 10 milligrams per kilogram, okay? I need to figure out what my patient weighs in kilograms first. So 66 divided by 2.2 is 30, okay? So I'm gonna rewrite this. So I have 10 milligrams times 30 kilograms, right? Because I converted their weight. So that gives me 300 milligrams, okay? That's my order. That's my top number. We figured that out now. So now order over available times quantity. Remember, this is our formula. Your quantity is always where you place the mLs, okay? So I have 300 milligrams for my order. My available was 160 milligrams per 5 mLs. So I'm going to write that there. And then we're going to solve. So 300 milligrams divided by 160. Okay, times 5 gives me 9.375. So notice it's the same answer. Okay, here's 3 again. If I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, I should get 9.4 mLs. Okay, hopefully this helps in working that out. Okay, on the next one, this slide here is just practice. So same order, same available. Okay, but then there is some bonus questions at the bottom. So number 1 of the bonus question, it changes the weight. So basically do the same thing, use a different weight. So just so you can see if you get the right answer, okay? Number 2, it's same labels, same available, or order, I'm sorry, but we changed the order to 15 milligrams this time. So try the calculations again using 15 milligrams, okay? If you forget how to calculate it or any of the conversion, you have this little formula here, okay? So that's there to help you out as well while you're practicing and studying. The next one here, okay, this is one where we need to practice reading the label, answering the questions. So I have 2 questions in one here. So the first question says, how many tablets are needed for 1 dosage? When you see a question worded like that, because it's asking about the dosage, you will have to actually calculate the order and the available. Okay, so I'm only going to calculate using order over available for this one. So in this case, I have 15 milligrams. That's my order. My available is here on the label, which is 10 milligrams. Okay, and then you're going to divide. So 15 divided by 10, and you get 1.5. Okay, so how many tablets? They're going to get 1.5 tabs. So a whole tab plus a half a tab. That's how we'll get what was ordered, okay? So that's question number 1, and that's for question number 1. Question number 2 says, what is the total number of milligrams the patient will receive in 3 days? So for this one, please don't get confused and think that you're now going to use the answer from number 1. You will not. These are 2 separate questions. Number 1 is done. You don't bring that over. You don't use that number again. So when we ask what is the total number of milligrams the patient will receive in 3 days, we're only talking about this here. You only have to look at the order, okay? So to figure this out, your order says baclofen, 15 milligrams per oral, TID for 3 days. So in order to solve this, you need to remember that TID means 3, right? So if the doctor ordered for them to have 15 milligrams 3 times a day, let's start there. How much are they getting in the day? So 15 times 3, and you get 45. So they're getting 45 milligrams per day, right? And then notice it says for 3 days. So let's see, well, how much would they get for 3 days? Okay, so you multiply that by 3 and you get 135. Okay, so that's how many milligrams they're getting for that order for 3 days. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? Okay, another one where you really have to read the label and really pay attention to what the question's asking you. So again, these are 2 separate questions. Okay, I just combined them here to help you, but they're 2 separate things. So number 1 says, how many tablets will you administer for the initial dose? So notice in your order, here's the initial dose. It says give your patient 12.5 milligrams, per oral BID. So how many tablets will you administer for your initial dose? Well, in order to do this, you have to understand that BID is 2. Okay, they're going to get 12.5 milligrams twice a day, right? So 12.5 times 2 or plus 2, okay, will give you what? It's going to give you 1, okay? So 12.5 plus another 12.5 will give you 25 milligrams. And look at your bottle. It is 25 milligrams. That means you're giving them one of these tablets, okay? So 12.5 milligrams, BID means twice, so plus another 12.5 equals 25 milligrams. This equals 1 tablet, okay? That's number 1. So you need to make sure that we understand that initial dose, okay? All right, so we know what they're getting for the initial dose. They're going to get 1 tablet. And basically all we did was that 1 tablet was split in half. That's how we got 12.5 and another 12.5 later in the day, okay? Number 2 says, how many tablets will the patient receive in total from initial dose and through the 14 remaining days? Well, we know on day 1, the initial dose, they got 1 tablet, okay? So the rest of the order reads right here, then increase to 25 milligrams daily for 14 days. So this means, here's my order here, right? 25 milligrams, and my available is 25 milligrams. If you want to see all the math worked out, here's what that would look like. Here's my order. Here's my available. Okay, those are milligrams. Those are milligrams. That's going to give me 1 tab, right? So that means 1 tab every day for 14 days. Okay, so simple math here would be 1 tab for 14 days. It's going to give you 14 tabs. Remember, question 2 says how many tablets will they receive in total from initial dose and through the 14 days. So I know for the 14 days, they're going to receive 14 tablets. On the initial day, they had 1 tablet, right? So here's my 14 tabs plus the initial day, which was 1 tablet. It's going to give them 15 tablets in total that they would have received. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. All right, I'm going to run through this one more time just because it is a few different things going on. So number 1, how many tabs will you administer for your initial dose? Again, read your order. Look at your initial dose. Initial dose says 12.5 milligrams per oral BID, which means twice a day. Okay, so if you take 12.5 and you give it, let's say in the morning, and 12.5 at night, for that first day, they received 25 milligrams because 12.5 plus 12.5 is 25 milligrams. If you look at your available, 25 milligrams is just 1 tablet. Okay, so they're getting 1 tab on day 1. The rest of the order says after we give that dose on day 1, then we're going to increase their dose to 25 milligrams daily for 14 days. Again, if you look at your bottle here, 1 tablet in that bottle is 25 milligrams. So that means they're going to get 1 tab every day for 14 days. So when we get to question 2, we want to know how much they're getting in total, initial dose and the 14 days. So you're going to get 1 tab every day for 14 days. That's 14 tabs. On day 1, they took a whole tab split in half. Okay, so that means 1 tab. You're going to add those together. They're getting 15 in total. Okay. And that is all.